Hi, welcome to the Environmental Health Report. My name is Carlo Diolim. Today we'll be talking about Sargassum weed. In this first episode, we'll talk about a few facts about Sargassum. We'll look at if Sargassum is toxic, and we'll look at treatment and prevention of symptoms related to an exposure to Sargassum. And I'll end with my final thoughts. Here's a few facts about Sargassum. Sargassum is a seaweed, and as you can see on this picture, there's an accumulation of Sargassum on the beach. In North America, Sargassum washes up on the beaches of the North Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico. The causes for accumulation are purely speculative, and a few of these causes are pollutant discharges, increase in ocean temperature and nutrients, and hurricane storms and sea currents. Is Sargassum toxic? When Sargassum decomposes, it releases hydrogen sulfide and ammonia. After being 48 hours stranded on the beach, spoiled sargassum accumulation can release large quantities of toxic gases. By these toxic gases, I mean hydrogen sulfide and ammonia. And you'll notice if you're not far from rotting sargassum that you'll smell a rotten eggs odor. There are two levels of exposure to rotting sargassum. First, there's an acute exposure, which can be minutes, hours, or up to 14 days. And people that have been that have experienced an acute exposure to rotting sargassum reported high and ear, nose, and throat irritation, nausea and vomiting, headache and dizziness, and respiratory failure. In the chronic exposure, which can be months or years, individuals revealed that they had memory loss, loss of balance, headache, nausea, and fatigue. Coma, and death can occur at high levels of hydrogen sulfide exposure. Individuals with asthma and respiratory disease need to be extra careful whenever they're close to sargassum accumulation, because they can experience a breathing problem or they can have a worsening of their symptoms. Now we'll talk about the treatment and prevention. There are no treatment to a poisoning caused by rotting sargassum, only supportive care. Avoid the prolonged exposure if you're close to sargassum accumulation. And this is especially important for people who have asthma and other respiratory problems. Don't touch the sargassum and don't swim next to it, because there can be sargassum larvae in the sargassum. There could be jellyfish larvae in the sargassum accumulation. And these jellyfish larvae can generate skin rash and blisters on the skin. And make sure your children don't eat sargassum if you're on the beach with them. If you live next to the beach, close your windows and doors if you smell the rotten eggs odor. Workers handling sargassum need to wear personal protective equipment such as masks, gloves, protective clothing. And it's also important that these workers wear a hydrogen sulfide detector to measure levels of hydrogen sulfide. The hydrogen sulfide that is released by the decomposing sargassum. My final thoughts. You should check for reports of sargassum accumulation on local media and environmental health department websites before going to the beach. If you experience any symptoms, you should contact the Poison Control Center. The phone number is 1-800-222-1222. You can also contact your healthcare provider, the health department, or a local public health unit. If you have any comments or suggestions, you can write me at ehreport411@gmail.com. I hope you got a good understanding from this episode, and I want to say to you thank you for listening, and have a great day.